Welcome back to Finx Weekly. This is where we go over the top names that are buzzing around Financial X and to see what is popular for the past week. Let's get right to it. I have the first top 10, 8 to 10 names, and then I have a history that we're going to fly through as well. First on the docket is Micron. Firstly, looking at the EMAs, the 8, 21, the 50, and the 200, everything is pointing up. It's pretty easy to see. You can see that it can break into a trend, time corrects to the 8 EMA, and trends up again. This time we had a price correction to the 21 EMA. It chops around, it undercuts these low. Oh, no, I lied. It doesn't undercut the lows, but comes close. Basically double bottoms here short term. We got a nice pop off of that. Price is now above the 8 and 21 EMA. We do have a downtrend line area that has potential to break into next week. Overall, Micron looks good. It looks strong. It's holding where it needs to go, and I would watch for continuation into this upcoming week. Next, we have Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab had finally broke this downtrend line. It is retesting that. It got hit today, down 7.5%. However, this, if you pay attention to this name, this is how this name moves. It rockets, 8 to 10% one day and is sold off 6, 7, 8% the next day. So you need to be ready for that volatility if you are trading these names. It can be very hard to do so. Either way, it's holding where it needs to hold right here off the highs. It has a little double bottom here. It undercut the lows of February 5th and rallied, broke the downtrend line, and you can say this is a retest area. The only thing I'd be cautious of is that if you look at the volume profile, green days, the volume is low with red volume is being higher. So typically that's more selling pressure if you pay attention to that type of stuff. But either way, just follow the price action. We do have a higher high made here relative to this higher high. Now what you need to look for is a higher low relative to this February 12th low at 63.87. It closed underneath the 50, closed underneath the 8 and the 21. Really, I would wait for some sort of direction before trying to catch something in this name. KTOS. I've been talking about this name for a couple weeks now, waiting for it to break the downtrend line. It did that this week. Now we look for a higher low set off of this Wednesday, February 11th low at 85.02. So you basically look for this 85 level to hold, and then we look for a continuation trend on up. It found supply where potential supply could have been, which is at the anchored VWAP from the prior high. So it hit that, and then we had a little selling. We do have earnings, I suppose, on Monday, so be mindful of that. I would not be carrying any name in general into earnings unless you're a long-term holder and you don't pay attention. But trading-wise, I would not recommend that. HWM is another Helmet Aerospace. So aerospace is a very popular, apparently these guys, they had a little bit of a push in demand for the aerospace sector for whatever reason, had a very strong push. Earnings had a nice response. It time corrected to the 8 EMA. Remember, time correcting markets chopping sideways versus price correcting markets pulling back into time correcting are stronger markets versus price correcting markets. So this time corrected, let the 8 EMA catch up, and then it pushed off basically into all-time highs. If you want to take a look at the weekly, this thing is rocking and rolling. So this is actually a pretty good name. Guilty until proven innocent. So if you guys are looking for a momentum name, this one might be a good place to get to pay attention to, I should say. CIEN, Sienna, another look at the 8 EMA, look at the 21 EMA, look at the 50, the 200 down here. This looks good. It's 68% off of all-time highs. I don't know what's with that, but if you can see, that goes back to however long ago, so I wouldn't even pay attention to that too much. You can see, looking at the weekly here, it's rocking and rolling. There's a huge volume on the weekly here, so what you could do is take the anchor VWAP, anchor it to that week, and watch to see how and if price respects that, which is this line right here. You can see on February 13th, it pulled back to that anchor VWAP, and that held. I like to color my trailing anchor VWAPs that color there. And so, here's that specific volume. Even better. Let's do it to that. So I would watch, maybe if you want to toss CIEN, onto your watch list. I'd anchor a VWAP to this high volume and see when, if price comes back to it, see how it respects. You can see it respected it there. Otherwise, it's trending up, looks pretty decent. CMPS had a huge gap up on volume. So again, gap ups, volume, earnings, anything like that important. You can set anchor VWAPs to. And I didn't want to turn that one green. That's my earnings one. And watch to see how it respects it. So you have this huge gap here. It might need some time to digest. If you look at the weekly, what's going on? It hit this supply area around 850, broke above it, and then came back into range. This might need some time to chop around. Not a name or a look that I would really value on my own. Rivian continues to be a heartbreaker. Gap up on earnings, set an anchor VWAP to it. That's that green line there. Continues to just continue to fill the gap, I guess. It's not this name just continues to do this, right? It's not giving everything back is not bullish. It's got a lot of competition and it just fails to get its leggings. But you know, it's got an uptrend here, but it's whippy. I don't know how you guys trade this stuff. Maybe long term, but I wouldn't touch that in my opinion. FSLY Fastly had a huge earnings gap. You can see it right here. I set an anchor VWAP from the earnings. It continues to trail up here. It is time correcting. The 8 EMAs trying to catch up. There's a lot of topping tails in here. If we look down at the 30 minutes, we can see that, so this 2025 to $20, say 1993, that's a little supply area here. So ideally it breaks that if you are long. Otherwise, your support levels here on a shorter time frame are right there. So if it breaks this 1795, you can probably look at 1728, maybe even pull back to the 1604 at the 8 EMA. Just not a look that I would choose either. So the clean looks out of this past week, I would say, is MU. I don't know why that is out of my list there. MU, this looks nice. Rocket Lab, give it some time. KTOS, watch for a potential higher low. HWM looks pretty clean. That's a nice look. And then CIEN, that's grinding. It's 3 days up now. I'd wait for a little bit of a pullback, especially after, you know, 3% move, 2.5% move, then a 5% move. I wouldn't chase this necessarily. MU and HWM are the best looks in my opinion out of the popular names from this week. Let's look into the history. TSM continues to look pretty solid. Let's look at a shorter time frame. This now has set a higher low versus here. It could not break this 356.34-ish level. Now it is retesting this supply area and holding it pretty well. So if we want to draw some lines to find the supply zone you want to look at, it's basically this area here where all these topping tails are. So once it breaks this 372 area, I would basically look for the test of these highs here. And then a potential breakout. So TSM, it continues to be a strong name of this market. I would continue to watch this. SMCI, this continues to chop and do nothing. Don't waste your time. BE, this thing moves. This is a volatile name. So when it moves up in a day. When it moves down, it moves down in a day. It moved 4% on Tuesday. Then it moved 8% on Wednesday, another 1% on Thursday, and then it gave back a little bit. So basically what we want to look for, this is basically right here, is a area of support short-term wise. It continues to test this. What area is this here? This 130. This 130 to, just call it 134. It is a demand support zone. It's right at the 50 EMA. But overall, it's just chopping around here in this base. It's holding where it needs to. It's just failing to get its legs underneath it. I think there are better places to be. RGTI, I think there are better places to be. Down trend lines, if you wanted to try a short in this name, that would be more supportive other versus a long. You're about to get a quote-unquote death cross, this 50 EMA crossing the 200 EMA. So this just does not look good. Palantir, it could chop around and base here. This is an area of potential basing right where it broke out of this this base right here, this 124 area. But overall, I think it does need some time. I mean, this name could obviously rip, but there's a lot of potential supply over here. If you pop on a volume profile, you would see a ton of volume over here. So once it retests this level again, it's important to see what happens if it gets back into the 140, 150 area to see if it accepts back into here or if it gets rejected. I could see it popping to the 21 EMA, getting rejected and coming down here, and maybe it starts basing around here. It's a hard call right now. If you look at the volume, though, volume was up. Volume has been up on green days, which is typically a decent sign, but overall, it's just better places to be. MSTR, I have a little downtrend line. I don't know if you want to call this a bull flag, a popping flag. I don't think it is. It's in the downtrend line underneath the 8 and 21 EMA, rejected at the 21 today. I think there are better places to be. AMD continues to do nothing. It is in this range. It's at the bottom of the range. So if you are a support buyer, maybe, and you can put a stop loss below this 190.72 and have a hard stop there. Otherwise, it's not doing anything. Better places to be. Tesla, better places to be. Sometime later on this year, I think it's the place to be, just not yet. Hood, better places to be. It's staying real tight, but you can see that it is just staying range bound within this big red bar from February 12th, the Thursday range. The high is 79 flat and the low is 70.43. So wait until it breaks that at least. But trend lines are down. You're about to get a quote unquote death cross. So if you guys watch that stuff, that's happening in Hood right now. I just not ideal. If it is going to base, it's at an area that it could potentially base right around the $66 to $65 area. Just, I think, better places to be. Nvidia, not doing anything. ONDS, it did make a higher high here. Now what we look for is a higher low versus this 870 low. Overall, long term, this could be a good one. It's a drone play. Base breaking, it just fails to hold it. So it's continuing again to fail this 1160 area. It needs to get above that and actually hold it. NBIS, again, downtrend line. I've been going over this. It did hit, nope, no, it did not. It continues to find supply in this 110 to 107 area. Now what we look for, now that it's over the 50 EMA, it's over the 200. The 200 was holding here. It did break the downtrend line. Now what we look for is a higher low versus this low on February 5th, 73.52. Ideally, we even make a higher low on this February 12th of 79.69 to set something to risk against, and then we make a higher high and resume trend. So NBIS looks decent, just needs some more work. IREN, that is not the look you want, honestly. Rejecting at that 8 EMA again on volume, down 7.5% today, chopping around in this range, but educated guess with that volume, this is most likely going to head lower. It tagged the 200 EMA. The 8 and the 21s are going down. IREN, it doesn't look the best right now. Obviously, it could work out in favor of, quote unquote, trapping any bears or any people that are short on this volume day. But it doesn't look the best. Zeta, Zeta, retesting this prior level of support. This could be an area to reshort it. Especially versus the 1748 high. However, you do have earnings on Tuesday, so be mindful. I would not touch it until that goes out. LRCX, chopping, digesting, respecting the 8 EMA. Looks decent, looks okay. Path, better places to be. Broke this area of support right here, retested, rejected. Now it's coming into this area of support. It's rejecting at the downtrending 8, the downtrending 21. You got a death cross here at 50 and the 200 EMA. It does not look good. Better places to be if you are on the long side. CoreWeave, very popular name. This might be a decent look, could be a turnaround, still in a downtrend line, still getting rejected at that downtrend line. It did make a higher low here on February 5th versus the low here on December 31st. Ideally, this undercut, especially of this low. So price did something important here. It undercut this, well, maybe not so, because this undercut here. Big volume, undercut this range, and then close back within that range. From failed moves come fast move. So maybe this sets off something with this undercut and potential rally here. Only time will tell. Overall, it's a little sloppy. Better places to be. RKT, rocket companies, better places to be. I have nothing to say. Don't waste your time there. Planet Labs, holding where it needs to hold still, finding supply at prior high anchored VWAP. I mentioned that last night on my X profile, and today we got it popped over it and then got rejected. So I would just wait for it to set a higher low versus this low on February 12th. So 1998. That is where risk would be against that. IONQ, I don't know. This just looks bad. Breaking down levels here, retested, rejected, respecting the 8 EMA on the downside under the 200. You got a death cross here, 50 crossing the 200 EMA. That happened on February 11th. If you paid attention to that stuff, everything's downtrending. There are better places to be. I would not be shocked if this hit the 27 to 25 area. I mean, heck, it might even go retest at 18 at overtime. I wouldn't touch it long personally. EOSE, again, breaking down, retesting, rejected at the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, 50 EMA, all going down, close underneath the 200 EMA. This is again the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time testing the 200 EMA. Just not a good look for EOSE. It could obviously undercut and rally, but right now you need to wait for confirmation. MTSI, nice response on earnings, been grinding up, respecting 8 EMA, looks decent. Freshpet, this is just kind of, I don't even know, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's a mover. It's a mover. I do have levels marked out here. I do think we most likely get to the 77-ish area. It's moving that way. You do have earnings, looks like on Monday, so I would not be in this. Hopefully you're not right now. Don't hold things into earnings. Target continues to grind upwards. I do think this is a trend reversal. I've been talking about it. You have a golden cross, 50 EMA crossing the 200 EMA to the upside. It's grinding and holding the 8 EMA. It is coming to an area of potential supply in this 121. You can see this prior support here. It broke down. There's a little gap here as well. We almost have a gap build there. Target looks pretty decent. eBay chopping around, not doing anything. USAR, buy the rumor, sell the news. Huge gap up on like the US buying a ton of stuff, and then it's done nothing but sell off. So nothing there. SMR, New Scale Power, in this range, breaking the range. This actually looks like a pretty decent short on volume today, breaking down 8%. If we get continuation, if we will look at the weekly, continuation to close below these weekly lows. If it breaks this week's low of 1333, did it do it today? 1333, the exact same low. So if it breaks 1333, I'm actually going to set an alert here. Let me add that. Let me edit it. 1333, I'm going to get an alert, and then we're going to watch to see what price does. I do think it'll probably get down to 1160, even to 1110. It doesn't look that good. If you want to go on the 30-minute time frame, again, it's chopping around. You wait for it to break this chop zone, and it's most likely going to get some continuation to the downside. A lot of supply overhead. Everything's going down. You got a death cross right here if you pay attention to that stuff. Not somewhere you want to be. FLNC, not somewhere you want to be. LAR, not somewhere you want to be. Right now, it's chopping, it's basing, it's holding the 50. That's decent, but just kind of a snooze fest. PayPal, getting rejected here around the gap area, around the open of earnings gap down. Not somewhere you want to be long, at least. VRT, I was calling this name out last week. It did nothing this week, but it's holding where it needs to be. It looks good. It just needs to base this huge 25% gap up and digest that, and we'll see where it goes. Viking Therapeutics, better places to be. Coin, this is holding at this prior area of support. I would wait to see what happens at the declining 21 EMA. Everything is declining here. Bitcoin doesn't look the best either. I think there are better places to be unless you're trying to catch a dead cat bounce. GFS, big earnings move, giving it back. Sloppy price action, better places to be. KLAC looks decent, just continues to chop within this 1500 to 1436 range. I don't know who trades that. I'm not touching that thing. Better places to be. SNDK, this is a solid name, continues to be very strong. Downtrend line, broke it today. Green days have volume. It's respecting the 8. The 21 is also up. You have an anchor VWAP here that it hasn't even tried to test it, actually. This is a breakout anchor VWAP. It's over the anchor VWAP from this prior high. This is a very strong name in the market right now. It'll probably get pulled at some point in time, but until proven guilty, it is still innocent. ARM looks pretty decent. Has a nice little pop off these lows. So here's an undercut of these lows, and it rallies, and then it time corrects. It's now over the 8 EMA. It's now over the 50. We have the 200 right here, so that's probably where that supply is coming in at. What I would look for is a little bit of a pullback potentially to set a higher low. What you could do is set an anchored VWAP to this low here. So that area of interest to set a higher low would be at that anchor VWAP of 118.80. Looks okay. CRDC, better places to be. Credo Technology, better places to be. This looks like it might be rejected. Ton of potential supply up above here. And then LITE, another monster of the market, especially right now. Broke out, trended, 80 EMA time correction, price correction. Pop, another price correction to the 80 EMA. It pops again. So this thing is just an absolute monster. A place, if you're looking for momentum, it's pretty extended, but it moves. It moves. So pretty good names there. That is the review of the week. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is to see, Finx can be very valuable if you're in the right names at the right time. However, at the same time, you can see that some of these names, a good majority of them, actually turn out to be duds, and even in downtrends. So you need to know where you need to be and when you need to be there, and also when you need to get out, and don't be a bag holder. That's part of being a professional trader. Hopefully these are valuable for you. Like, subscribe, turn on the alerts for my weekly videos right here in Finx, and also my general market preparation videos. Trade well. Thanks for your time. Later.